What's up, everybody? About 2 weeks ago, we got Season 3 of Vanguard and Warzone Pacific. Now, normally, I make a loadout video about a week after the season starts. But with the patch notes that came out last week, about a week after the season started, then they added the UGR to Cold War and Warzone. I took some time to play with some more things, see how the nerfs and buffs felt, see how the UGR felt. And so finally, I'm making my loadout video. I know it's later than usual, but at least I'm finally making it. So without taking too long, let's go ahead and jump into my loadouts. Okay, and as usual, we have our trusty comeback loadout. Now, it used to be the Growl. You can still run the Growl if you want to. It's the Monolithic Suppressor, the Archangel Barrel, the 60-round mag, fully loaded, and then Commando foregrip. Or, you know, you could drop one of the attributes, but you must have fully loaded. So I moved away from that. Went to Vanguard, as we know, because you can have fully loaded without dropping a perk. And so I have the DP in here. I'd either have the DP or probably the STG. You'll see the STG later. Spoiler alert. But I'd probably have one of those two because you can be fully loaded with all 9 other attachments. It used to be the Bren was an option, but the Bren got nerfed. And I don't really like any of the other Vanguard ARs for long range too much. So I end up with either the DP or the STG being my comeback option. The DP builds my usual MX silencer, the 680mm barrel. That gives you the horizontal recoil control and the bullet velocity. You do lose vertical recoil control, but nothing else helps recoil control. Just fire rate, no recoil control, and the other ones hurt. So I'd rather pull down harder and not bounce left and right as much. Plus, you get bullet velocity. Hand stop, it's the best for horizontal recoil control, so we always use the hand stop because we'd rather pull down than try to adjust for side to side. And it doesn't hurt your ADS speed. 105 round pan, the lengthened. Lengthened, I would still use on long range, but there is an argument for subsonic now that there's no cons, and it keeps you off the minimap. But we have an MX silencer, so that's really not necessary for range. Just wanted to point that out. Then the 3 to 6 times, or whatever your favorite optic is. I know a lot of people use the G16 2.5 times, but as I've said before, I'm not really a fan. Polymer grip. The Empress VZV gives you recoil control during sustained fire and while crouched or prone. And nothing else helps your recoil as much. Hard scope, because once again, recoil control. You could run fleet because you're running an LMG, but I'd rather have the recoil control. And then fully loaded. If you don't want to run fully loaded, which you have to on your comeback, but on other classes, on hand now helps your ADS speed as well as equipment dexterity. So that's definitely the other option besides fully loaded on ARs and LMGs. And then obviously SMGs, you would always go quick. And then once again, I have the Auto 1911 build, the M1929 silencer, the Cooper full auto barrel, optic of choice. Heavy trigger because it helps with aim stability and aim walking steadiness. The other ones that increase fire rate don't really matter on the automatic. So you go with the heavy. You could go with the steady because it helps recoil, but there's not really a lot of recoil, so I go with the heavy. Then 45 ACP 24 round mags. Either hollow point, lengthened, or you don't, or subsonic, even though you don't really need subsonic because the 1929 silencer. There is no recoil booster, so there's no option for that like we would on an SMG. And then fleet, the akimbo is not good enough. The hip fire is just not accurate enough, doesn't kill fast enough. And you're not really looking to hold on to this anyways. Vital doesn't change your time to kill at all. And then I fully loaded because it's comeback, but if you were just running this class because you wanted to grab tempered or one of the other second perks first, then I would go quick. But because this is comeback, we're going fully loaded. And then on comeback, we're going to go with whatever perk 2 we would normally go with, either tempered or restock. If you're playing solos, high alert. You can still use Ghost. If you're camping, Ghost isn't going to help you. But if you're mobile, Ghost hasn't really changed. And then your choice of lethal and tactical. And you'll see perks. If you notice, my perk 1 is going to be cold-blooded or quick fix. It's really your preference. EOD is also a really good option after it's buff. But I'd go either cold-blooded or quick fix. And then I have a solos loadout. The BAR I absolutely love. I've been running it in like quads, rebirth. It just has been shooting nukes lately, and it's got absolutely no recoil. It got a huge buff for season 3, and so I decided to try it out, and it's just shooting nukes right now. The MX silencer, the as usual, the CGC 30-inch XL barrel gives you bullet velocity, recoil control, and flinch resistant. Yeah, it hurts your ADS movement speed and sprint to fire speed, but it's long range, so those aren't as important. Hand stop, once again, your choice of optic. The Chariot WR stock gives you more recoil control, accuracy, flinch resistance. Once again, hurts your movement speed and ADS speed, but it's long range, so it's not as important. Whereas everything else either hurts accuracy, still hurts movement speed. Nothing gives you the same recoil control that I found as the Chariot WR stock. And then 8mm 30-round mag is the way to go. Once again, it gives you like no recoil control. It increases your fire rate. It just feels really good to me. You could try one of the BMG mags, but it's a lot more recoil. Lengthened, once again, polymer, as always on long range. Hard scope for recoil control, and then once again, fully loaded or on hand. Then for this SMG, this is now it's the Type 100. It's now the fastest killing SMG according to True Game Data. I did get this loadout from him. So this is his loadout. He did put it out in his SMG video. This is the fastest killing. The reason this is stuck in solos and nowhere else is because with this loadout, you do only have the 36-round mag. So just like the BAR, you start to run out of ammo with multiple opponents. But it's a recoil booster like usual on SMGs. The rapid barrel, which hurts your ADS speed oddly and hurts your damage, but increases your damage range oddly and your fire rate. The 30 caliber short. 36 rounds does gives you the fastest time to kill of any SMG right now. Added with hollow point. You'll lose a little bit of time to kill, but you could also run subsonic. Slate reflector or whatever your choice of optic is. The skeletal stock gives you sprint to fire speed and movement speed. It doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, but if you're worried about recoil, try the weighted stock. It is going to decrease your movement speed, but it's not going to change your time to kill, obviously. Rubber grip gives you the best recoil control for it according to True Game Data. I also like polymer, and I also like fabric. It's kind of your choice. Once again, this is purely True Game Data's loadout. He is all about gung-ho. I think Fleet's a really good option. Vital, I don't think is as important. That doesn't usually change your time to kill. The reason and acrobatics also really good. The reason he wants gung-ho on guns that have gung-ho is it gives you instant sprint to fire time. There is no sprint to fire delay with gung-ho. But especially if you ADS around, I would go with acrobatic, probably, maybe fleet, but acrobatic's usually my go-to. But gung-ho does give you no sprint to fire time, so that is pretty huge. And then once again, quick. Like I said, all SMGs I'm always going to run quick. And then once again, perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. Just note on perk 3, I did talk about perk 1. I go combat scout unless I'm running like a sniper or something. Battle Harden's really good with the snapshot, with the change to snapshots, and with the buff to restock. There's a lot more stuns, snapshots, etc. And so Battle Harden's also a good option. I think those are really your main two. Amped, if you're running what I'm going to show you my sniper loadout, I'd still run amped. Iron Trials, you can use whatever AR you really want or LMG. I went with the DP again because I like to put the DP on here. It's one of the best range options for Vanguard weapons. And you also get 105 rounds, which is huge when you need the extra bullets in Iron Trials. We are about to lose quad Iron Trials, but then I think we get a week or two of Trios Iron Trials leading up to the mid-season update. I know we are getting more Iron Trials at some point in the season. I just don't remember which weeks they are. But it's the same build as I already showed you. Here, I would probably more consider running on hand because it's not our comeback class, but I still have it as fully loaded. Now, the Owen is still the best is still probably the second best SMG. Time to kill wise it is, but it's the best when you include the use of ammo because you get 60 instead of 36 in the best build. So now the build has changed a little bit. It's no longer the rapid barrel or the 7.62 rounds. It's the same build otherwise, but now your best time to kill-ish in combination of being able to control the weapon is to go no barrel and the 60 round 8mm ammo. But otherwise it's still recoil booster, hand stop, lengthened or subsonic, slate reflector, remove stock, polymer grip, acrobatic, or quick. We've gone over the other attachments on other weapons, but remove stock does give you a better sprint to fire speed as well as movement speed, aim down sight speed, aim walking speed, which is something that the Owen gun needs. It's just a slow SMG. Fast time to kill, slow everything else. And if you really don't like that, I would probably just remove the stock. Everything else has too many negatives over their positives. And I know True Game Data does no barrel and no stock attachment, not the remove stock. It just does no stock. And then once again, perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. If you watch my sniper video, you already know that the ZRG is the best sniper now. Wrap suppressor, combat recon barrel, SWAT, 5mm laser sight are pretty much all musts. And then I use the bruiser grip for the movement speed and the aiming stability. You could also go combat stock or raider pad for the reason that we would on ARs, which just gives you more movement speed as well as sprint to fire speed. So if you're running aggressive, it's not a bad option, but I just don't think it's worth it on a sniper. And then you could also run the jungle grip or the elastic wrap. It gives you flinch resistance as well as aim down sight time, so it's a really good option that I would drop over the bruiser grip. There is another way that people are running it. They are dropping the wrap suppressor for the sound moderator, and that gives you a lot closer ADS speed to like the Swiss, which was one of the fastest, while giving you still higher bullet velocity than the Swiss. And then if you want to take it even a step further, I know a lot of people like going to the Royale and cross 6 times, and then they actually drop the mag. I would probably drop the mag over the bruiser, which gives you that aiming stability as well. And this gives you ADS time just about the same as the Swiss, but I just don't like the way the 6 times looks. And so if I was running it trying to get a little bit faster ADS with the sacrifice of bullet velocity, I would run this. But its stats are so good, I would still run it with the wrap suppressor, and this is still how I would run it. At Cold War AK, still my favorite AR sniper support. Same build it's always been: suppressor, Spetsnaz RPK barrel, microflex LED, bakelite, 60 round mag, and the Spetsnaz grip. 45 round mag's also really good for sniper support depending on the mode you're playing. Gives you a little better ADS. It's how I usually run it, but I started liking the 60 more as this got a little bit of a nerf. And like Caldera got the health buff, and there's also Iron Trials, which I don't snipe in, but if you wanted to, I'd run the 60 round mag. Then I have best Modern Warfare LMG. To me, is still the PKM. I've been seeing a lot more Bruin, which is also very good, but the PKM still kills really fast. I don't really use it as much. As you can see, it's not fully leveled, but I still think it's the best Modern Warfare LMG if you're looking to run that, but I really don't because they're just slow ADS, slow movement speed when compared to the other 2 games. But if you do want to run it, it's the same build it's been since ever. Mono suppressor, extended barrel, tac laser, VOK 3 times optic with the T-pose, and then snatch grip. You could drop the tac laser if you really wanted for ammo, but there's not really anything else you could drop, and I wouldn't recommend that because it is a Modern Warfare weapon. And then I have that with what is the probably best overall well gun in terms of time to kill. I don't know about usability, but time to kill is probably the best. Recoil booster, Guywind short barrel, hand stop, 45 caliber, 48 round mags, lengthened, polymer grip, slate reflector, remove stock, acrobatic quick. You've seen me go over all of these attachments before. If you're just looking for recoil control as well, go with the shrouded barrel, but keep everything else the same. And it does help your range, your recoil barrel. But if you're just looking fast, time to kill, play aggressive, Guywind short barrel is definitely the way to go. Like I said, I would keep all these attachments probably otherwise, except for shrouded. And the 7.62 round is still pretty good if you don't like the big mag, but you will run out of ammo, obviously. But still very good. And then perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. Cold War LMG, and I always like to include a couple LMGs because some people just really like the LMGs. It's still the M82. It's still the best Cold War LMG. Agency suppressor, task force barrel, axial arms 3 times, fast mag, field agent grip. You could drop the fast mag for airborne elastic wrap or serpent wrap just to get the better ADS times. But it's an LMG. It's only going to be so fast, and it is Cold War, so it is a little faster movement and ADS time. Then I have that with the hipfire PPSH. This build hasn't changed ever. It's still an incredibly broken fast time to kill, but we built everything out for a hipfire accuracy. So recoil booster. This barrel gives you the 230mm barrel, gives you the best hipfire accuracy, increases your fire rate. The M1915 gives you the best hipfire accuracy, 4 grips. 7.62 rounds is always the way to go. Probably because you're hipfiring, I wouldn't go lengthened. I would go hollow point or subsonic. Fabric grip, best hipfire accuracy grip. It is good to have an optic on here, just so you can, if you got an ADS, if you're never going to ADS, go with like the whatever the highest zoom optic is because it gives you better accuracy. Remove stock oddly gives you the best hip fire accuracy. Tight grip for if you do have to ADS, otherwise go with fleet. And then quick once again. Perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. And now I have my top 4 ARs. And it's kind of up to you. This isn't necessarily my 1, 2, 3, 4 rank, but these are the 4 that I would really consider using right now. It's kind of just up to you, depending on how you like it. There's a couple ARs I left over the list, which I'll mention at the end. One LMG that I did leave off the list is the Finn. The Finn does have the fastest time to kill still at range, but you do run out of ammo pretty quickly. AR number 4, good old AMAX. Now, this is probably 4th because it has a lot of visual recoil and kind of a lot of recoil compared to the other ones on the list. But it's still monolithic suppressor, Zodiac barrel, Commando 4-grip, 45-round mag, and VOK 3 times with the T-pose. Then the short barrel MP40. It's the exact same MP40 as it's always been, except the short barrel, which gives you damage, range, bullet velocity, and limb damage. Does hurt headshot damage, but not enough. It's still the best MP40 build. Hand stop, 45-round mags, lengthened, slate reflector, fabric grip, Krausnick 33M folding now instead of the remove stock. So that way you don't hurt your recoil as much. Plus it gives you movement speed. Momentum, you could use brace if you're finding the recoil a little hard, or perfectionist. And then quick. And then perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. Number 3 is the newly buffed STG with the MX silencer. It's the same STG build it's always been. It's just better now. VDD 760, hand stop, 60-round drums, lengthened, stippled grip, your choice of optic. I like the weighted stock. I know some people like precision, but weighted stock does give you the best recoil control. I use acrobatic. Vital doesn't increase your time to, or decrease your time to kill. Focus literally just doesn't work. You get no flinch resistance with that. And you could go sleight of hand if you wanted. And then, once again, either fully loaded or on hand. Now I have that with the newly buffed Armawera. It's definitely top tier viable. The meta is still going to be either that Type 100 build or the Owen. But every SMG is top tier viable on this list at least. And unless you're coming up against an absolutely cracked player, you can still beat the average and below players if you're an above average player, if you're using any of the other SMGs on this list besides the Owen and the Type 100. But it's recoil booster. It's the same loadout as when I had my Armawera video a while ago. Recoil booster, the 315mm barrel does give you the best time to kill. It does hurt your recoil, but it gives you the best time to kill. If you don't like that, I'd probably go with the precision barrel or the 550 barrel, depending on just how it feels. The precision barrel does give you the best bullet velocity and is very does help your recoil control a lot, but it hurts your body damage, so you have to be hitting headshots. Whereas the 550 barrel gives you really good recoil control and bullet velocity, but it hurts your ADS, your movement speed, and your sprint to fire speed. So I just like going with the 315 for the best time to kill. 9mm 60-round mags also gives you a really good time to kill. 72 gives you a lot of ammo. And the 30-round mags does kill faster, but it's a lot more recoil. If I wasn't going to run the 960, I would try the 872, but it does increase your recoil a lot, and this thing has kind of a lot of recoil for an SMG. Once again, lengthened or subsonic. Fabric grip. If you're running one of the other mags, you're going to have to switch to probably polymer. And then your choice of optic. The folding stock gives you fire speed and movement speed. If you're, once again, using another one of those mags, I would probably go with the body DA because it helps your recoil control a lot. Hard scope for recoil control. There isn't really anything else I would use. Maybe steady instead. Sleight of hand if you wanted, but I'd probably go hard scope or steady. And then once again, quick. Choice of perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. Number 2 AR, depending on how you feel about them, I would be able to switch an XM4 in here as well. It did get better at range, but I still like the AK a little more. And it's the same build, Grew Suppressor, Spetsnaz RPK, Axial Arms 3 times, Spetsnaz Grip, and Bakelite 60. And then Cold War MP5, still very, very, very top tier viable. Its movement speed's really good still. It's towards the top of the SMG movement speeds when you build it out like this, and definitely still worth running if you're looking to not only run the Owen gun. Agency Suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, 50-round drum, and Raider stock. The same build it's always been. Perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. One note, I did want to remind you is on the AK, I know it's twice on the list, do run the suppressor. If you want to run the GRU suppressor, drop the barrel, and then put on, like, a rear grip. And then my number 1 AR overall is the Farah. Farah's back in the number 1 spot after the Vargo being there for a while, but the Vargo did receive a small nerf where the Farah hasn't been touched in a while. But it's the same build as it's always been. GRU suppressor, RPK barrel, Axe arms 3 times, Spetsnaz grip, and the Spetsnaz 60-round mag. And then I just put the same Owen build on here again. There wasn't another SMG I really wanted to include, just because I wanted to reemphasize how good this Owen is. This Owen is the second fastest time to kill SMG, but has a lot more ammo than the Type 100 build on there. But it's the same build. Other ARs that could go in here, like I mentioned, the XM4, the Vargo. Really, that's probably all I would include on this list. Additionally, there's not really any other ones that I love too much. There's still some decent viable ones, but just don't feel as good. Like the Grau could end up back on here if you really wanted to. Other LMGs would be like the Bruin that I didn't mention. But once again, it's just a slow Modern Warfare gun. The Royale is another good option, but once again, it's a slow LMG. And then SMGs, like I said, Lapa could go on here. OTS still has really good movement speed and still a viable time to kill. That could go on here. They did buff the Tommy gun or the M1912. I still don't really like it, but it did get a buff. But overall, these are the loadouts that I really think are the best when you compare recoil, time to kill, all of that. And then I just like to include, like I said, Modern Warfare, LMG. I did like putting the AMAX on there. But these are the best loadouts that I really think you can be running. With that all being said, I appreciate any watch time. If you just kind of clicked around the video, watched all the way through, I appreciate it all. I also appreciate any interaction, so please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I am planning on doing just overall long-range video as well as a close-range SMG video because we're not including shotguns. I might throw out a sniper support video as well, so keep an eye out for all those. Hit that notification bell if you want to know right when they're uploaded. Let me know down below what you think of my loadouts. Am I full of crap? Am I spot on? Is there anything you would change on any of the weapons? Anything you would include? Anything you take off? Let me know down below. And as usual, I'll have all my social medias linked down below, so please feel free to visit those. But I will see you on Rebirth Island and Caldera. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.